Here to take us through the international press is Florence Vilmino. Hello,
Hey,
Florence. We're going to start off with reactions to those US embassy closures across North Africa and the Middle East.
That's right. A lot of U.S. officials are saying it's because they perhaps uncovered the most serious plot on U.S. interests since 9/11. But Rue 89 says this is actually really good timing for the Obama administration and is, proving to be quite a good diversion from the Edward Snowden revelations on the National Security Agency spying program. Basically, it gives a lot of politicians arguments to prove the value of this NSA domestic intelligence sweeps. And a lot of politicians are already saying this, if it weren't for the NSA, they wouldn't be able to catch the bad guys. But many internet users, as points out Rue 89, are wondering if all this is just a hoax, really, if it's just an attempt by the government to legitimize the NSA program. The International Herald Tribune, meanwhile, says that though the U.S. is right to take maximum precautions, it would be negligent otherwise, any threat from al-Qaeda, no matter how serious, should not divert attention from a thorough investigation into this domestic spying.
There's also a lot of talk about Iran after the new president gave his first press conference since his inauguration.
That's right. Slate points out that a lot of people were paying very close attention to what Hassan Rouhani had to say. There was a lot of hope that, perhaps he would turn the page on what a lot of people say is the dark days of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. They hoped that maybe he would pave the way for some sort of more engagement with Tehran. Slate points out that a lot of journalists use the words moderate or pragmatic. There's a lot of hope that he would be Iran's Mikhail Gorbachev. But Slate says this is all really just stuff of fairy tales. He's really just a regime guy who's going to push Iran's nuclear agenda. And there's a cartoon in China Daily that goes along these lines where you can see Mahmoud Ahmadinejad handing over the control to him. And, he's just doing the same old arm wrestling there with Uncle Sam over the nuclear issue.
Now, it's been a year since the Curiosity rover landed on Mars. I can't believe it's been a year already.
A year already. The Independent takes a closer look at just what we've learned in this 1 year. Curiosity has already collected 190 gigabytes of data. It's collected a lot of samples about the air, the Earth. So what have we learned? Well, Curiosity has told us that, Mars did at one point and does have the right chemistry to support life. There's no evidence of life so far. And also there was evidence that there was once water. The mission still has 1 year, so I'm sure we'll discover a lot more other things.
Absolutely. Now, the Wall Street Journal is looking at the original tweeters.
That's right, and this is not the stuff of Twitter. This is actually a Turkish town called Kuzkoy on the Black Sea. This is a really interesting article. It's known as the Bird Village because for centuries, residents there have communicated with each other using elaborate whistles. Basically, this is kind of a whistled dialect of Turkish that they use. They use their fingers, their tongues, their teeth. They have about 20 sounds that can travel about 2 kilometers. And in fact, the article describes one man who asks his neighbor, who's about 500 meters for him, if he wants to come and have coffee. And his neighbor says, I'll be there in just 5 minutes with whistles. So it's a real language, but the article points out that the question is, can it survive in the digital age? Locals say that, it can, but it has, a lot of people are using cell phones now, so a lot of young people don't know how to whistle anymore,
Right.
But they're hoping that they will one day learn and be able to whistle once again.
It's not my forte. Can you whistle?
I can whistle. I don't know if I could communicate, but I can say.
That is a great story. Thank you very much, Florence, for taking us through the international papers. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned to France 24, all the latest headlines coming right up.
Is Paris losing its status as a financial hub? With the world of finance consolidating, France is seen to be losing ground as only a handful of cities emerge as global financial centres.
Beyond Business, Saturday 10:15 a.m. Paris time on France 24.